Some people sell one house and buy a new one regularly. They like to be on the move. There are a lot of people, however, who buy their forever home and don't have to move for quite some time. In this video, I want to explain some changes that have occurred within the last 10 years when it comes to real estate law. Come on in and have a seat. I'm Ben Weaver, Illinois attorney and founder of 23 Legal. For the last 10 plus years, I've been providing personal, practical, and professional legal services by guiding clients through the process of buying and selling a home throughout Chicago and its suburbs. And I wanted to take some time today to talk about some of the changes I've seen in that time period to help someone who may not had a recent real estate transaction know what to expect. Number 5, the contract has evolved. Right now, we're rocking the 7.0 multi-board residential real estate contract, which is as simple to say as ever. When I first got into the law game, we were on the 5.0 multi-board contract. Realtors, lawmakers, and attorneys all work together to perfect this contract, which has necessitated upgrades over the years. Some of the changes are as simple as moving around terms from one paragraph to another. Other changes completely add or remove paragraphs altogether. I'd say the biggest changes have been centered around financing options and home inspections. If you have any questions on those, please leave a comment and we'll answer you as soon as we see it. But as a home buyer, for all intents and purposes, your steps in the process are still largely similar from a contractual standpoint. Number 4, closings got crazy. The world went under a significant change 2 years. Wait, Adam, it's 2023. That's 3 years already.
Really? Okay.
But houses did not magically stop moving. Before that point, closings were quite the crowded affair. Buyers attended the closing, sellers were more likely to attend the closing. Lenders, realtors, and attorneys were also there as well. It was quite the crowded affair. But we had it down to a science. Then, around February of 2020, that all changed. Virtual closings became a thing overnight. We all got very accustomed to Zoom quickly, and we all got accustomed to making sure that closing, one way or another, finished. I have a few fun stories of doing whatever was necessary. I helped finalize a closing in a garage. We closed in the car all the time for a few months. That never would have happened before, but as the world adjusted, so did we, and we were able to use those advancements in technology to keep the real estate world moving. Now that most restrictions have been lifted, however, let's jump to number 3, new closing settings. We just talked about how closings used to have everyone and their mother involved at the office for the closing. Nowadays, if you're selling a house, you aren't even required to be there anymore. Only the buyer is required to attend. And there are plenty of times a seller's attorney will attend on the seller's behalf, but sometimes they're not even required at the closing either. The title company rep will pop in and say hi, but will largely stay in their office. What used to be a large, hectic hour or two has really been streamlined to only those who really need to be there. Maybe some people miss the way it used to be, and sure, I miss seeing a lot of familiar faces regularly, but even I can't deny that it's much more efficient than it is now. Number 2, the market causing buyers to need to make more concessions. And no, I don't mean hot dogs and beer at Wrigley. Especially the last 2 years, the market was such a seller's market that buyers were having to offer higher prices and even sign off on some contractual provisions at a greater level than we were used to seeing. For example, it almost became expected that contracts were coming in with an as-is provision. That was an advantage to the seller. On top of that, we saw some new clauses and exceptions starting around 2020 as well. We would see price escalation riders that would essentially ensure the buyer's offer was the best offer possible up until a certain point. And we've discussed this further in another video, so check the card in the corner for more on that. We also saw appraisal waivers, a rise in post-closing possession agreements, and as I stated earlier, the rise in prices in general. All these types of clauses and agreements were generally beneficial to the seller, so It'll be interesting to see if that continues into 2023, as home prices tend to be down. However, interest rates are higher than the peak of 21 and 2022. And number 1, wire fraud concerns. So, technology is great, and without our current technological advancements, we really would have struggled throughout the last 3 years. However, that's also made it easier for scammers to take advantage of people and cost them loads of money, ruin some lives completely. Because of this, wire instructions are highly protected. Title companies will be sure to securely send the seller wire instructions so that it cannot be intercepted by a party that should not be privy to it. So, if wire instructions can be intercepted, do we all just want to send a cashier's check instead? Well, this brings us to another change that we call the $50,000 rule. If the purchase price is under $50,000, a cashier's check will work just fine. Over $50,000? Well, we gotta wire it. So those are 5 ways the real estate world has changed over the last 10 years. And in many ways, just over the last 3. If you know someone who's about to buy or sell a house for the first time in years, show them this video so they may know what to expect. Like this one if you found it helpful, and subscribe to 23 Legal for more real estate law content. I'm Ben Weaver, we'll be taking new contracts and clients, and I'll see you in the next video.